Welcome. We got a whole new setup going on here, raining, windy outside, and throughout the years I get a bunch of questions, comments from you guys asking for more in-depth info about all kinds of fishing related things, rods, reels, line, lures, rigging, how to tie knots, whatever it might be. So we're going to do a little side series here, and we're going to go a little bit more in-depth into certain little things. Each video will be different. And to kick things off here, the first video we're going to do is how to rig like a GT style stick bait. I've got 3 of the same lures, exactly the same. I'm going to rig them in 3 different ways with 3 different hook configurations to give you guys a proper rundown on rigging styles, how to play around with your hook sizes to make your lure perform differently in different scenarios. And yeah, it's going to be quite interesting. First things first, obviously, kind of what you need to be able to rig lures. This is going to be super basic for some of you guys, but if you're just starting out, like casting topwater lures, all that stuff, this info is going to be priceless. Split ring pliers, for me, HPAs are probably the best split ring pliers available. There's many different ones out there, choose what you will, but for me, these have been great. I've had 2 pairs in 8 years, so that's saying something. Split rings, essential. I have my split ring box here. It's just like a little storage method that I can keep everything kind of sized in different compartments. I store split rings and swivels in here. You can buy a lure from the store, it can come rigged with hooks and split rings. I have big trust issues with this stuff, so I whip everything off pretty much every lure I have, because you never know when that really special fish is going to eat it, and if you don't know what the split rings and hooks are, it's one recipe for disaster. So I run NT swivels only, not sponsored, I buy them. Split rings, I run Decoy split rings only, again not sponsored by Decoy, I just think they're the best split rings on earth. They've got the best memory, they're strong, they're great. Obviously you need hooks. I run all BKKs. For me, over the years, using a lot of different hooks to see what was best, I settled on BKK. Now I work with BKK, and I think they're probably the best hook on the market. So we've got a range of different hooks. We've got singles there. We've also got trebles to show you that variation in rigging. And the lure that we're going to use today, we've got 3 of the same. It's the Duo Fumble 230F. Again, this is very general. I'm using this lure. You're probably going to be using a different lure at home. It's just to give you an idea of the best rigging methods to get the most out of your lure in each different scenario. Lure out of the box comes with splits, this one, so I'm going to quickly whip them off. Probably could have lubed these up a little bit, but they've just been getting used, mate. They're workhorses. So split ring pliers for beginners, if you've never used them, can be a little bit tricky, but once you get a bit of a play with it, it'll come natural. The first rigging option we're going to do here, like I said, I'm going to do 3 rigging options. The first one is going to be double treble. I'm using 5.0 BKK GT Rexes on this one. I'll probably use size 10 Decoy split rings, and this rig will be like the searching new water rigging. So you've got 2 trebles on there. It will kind of dull the action of the lure a bit, but you're not sure if there's fish there or not. You don't know what you're going to encounter. And if you get one bite, you want it to stick. So that's why we're going the double treble option on this one. All right, we're getting 3 size 10 splits out. We'll lay them there. We'll get our hooks out of here. 2 5.0 GT Rexes, we'll get rid of that. There's a million different ways to, well, it's not a million different ways, but there's a lot of different ways people like to do this stuff. For me, I like to put the split ring on the hook first because I have a specific hook orientation. The hook has to sit on the lure a certain way in my brain to get a better action, and that's just how I do it. A bit of OCD. Every fisherman has a little bit of OCD. So split on. Second split. Get the shakes from my coffee. a lot of other split rings that I've used before, and this is why I stick with decoy, is you'll put them on a hook with a big ring like that, and by the time it's on there, it's lost its memory and there's a gap, and that's just another tiny little minute thing that could cost you a fish. So I'm harping on the decoy split rings, but I'm telling you they're the best ones. Okay, so we're at the point we've got our split rings on our hooks. Super simple. Next thing we're going to do is obviously put the split ring and the hook on the lure. Pretty tech here. But there's a little bit more to it than meets the eye here. I am quite specific with the way I do it, so I'll try and explain this as best I can. It's actually pretty simple. So with the split ring on the hook, I like to set it like that, so it's very weird to explain and even to hold, but with like this, it's going to sit like that. So I've got one hook point up, two hook points down. I don't know what it is about it, but when I used to fish a lot with shallow diving, minnows and stuff, fishing off the rocks, having the one up, two down gave the lure a better action for some reason. I'm not sure why. So I've always stuck with that. That's how I run my back treble on every lure that I rig. You might be different, but that's how I do it. Like I said, it gave me a good action on smaller lures back in the day, so I've always stuck with it. Okay, connecting the split ring to the toe point, on like that, and just work your way around. Again, for people that are beginners, this is going to be pretty helpful. For everyone else, it's pretty rudimentary, but get to that point, keep spinning it around, bang, she's on. You can see there, 1 point up, 2 points down. All right, now with the belly hook, I have a bit of a system as well. It's the same kind of thing. We want to run it so if you have it dangling like that, as the lure is going to sit in the water, we've got one hook point facing forwards, two facing back. This just makes sense because if you look at it at this angle, the hook just sits nicely across the belly of the lure. If you were to rig it a different way, the hook's going to sit like that, and it doesn't kind of work as well. So again, if you're new to doing all this stuff, the first couple of times you put your hook on your lure, you might find you've put it on and it's sitting a different way, or two up, one down, you know. So you just have to play around a little bit with it and get the angle right when you're putting the lure on, and it will sit right. So that's a super basic way of rigging, like I called it before, like a searching rig, where you're fishing new areas, you don't know what's there, you don't know how big the fish are, or if you're even going to get a bite, but two trebles is a really good way of making that one bite stick. So that is the searching rig there. That's the one that you're going to throw, maximize any bite you get. The last finishing touch with all of these things, top water, you can just tie off straight to the toe point on the lure. For me, I don't love it. So what I do is very simple. It's just another size 10 split ring, the same. I go into my little box of tricks here. I get a swivel out. I attach my swivel to this split ring. Get that in there. Whoops. That's on. Now we're just going to attach this split to the toe point on the lure. Very simple. That's how you do it. And then obviously you're tying off to the swivel with your leader connection. For me, it's a uni knot. We will cover that in another video. For me, that's the best possible way to connect. A lot of guys run a split ring to a solid ring, which is also great. For me, having the swivel there eliminates any line twists you might get from casting, winding, all that kind of stuff. So that system is great. That's the go-to. Can be on big lures, can be on small stick baits, can be whatever. So a real big bonus of using the swivel and split ring off the nose of your lure is pure ease of lure changing. You don't have to cut your leader, retie knots. You simply take the split ring off the toe point on the nose of the lure, whack it on a different lure. Quick, simple changes, makes life easy. And you also, if you're really looking into it, you get an extra inch of mackerel biting protection there as well. So you take any wind you can get. That's the searching rig done. We're going to move on now to like the everyday casting, confident you're going to hook up, you want your lure to swim well, all that kind of stuff rig. The fishing may not be firing for this one, but it's your everyday setup. It'll make sense in a minute. Okay, splits off, old splits, new splits, whatever they are. Get rid of them. All right, first things first here, we're just whacking the split on the hook again. There we go. Get that on there. We've got our 5.0 treble. I'm going to just quickly grab a single out. This is a 9.0 BKK Diablo. All right, that's the 9.0 Diablo there. We're going to whack the split ring on this guy. Feed him around. That's on. We got our splits on our hooks. The idea with this, I'll just lay it here like this for you, if you can see that, Goblin. That's how we're running this one. The belly treble, tail single, like I said, going to free up the action a lot more than having the double treble, and a really good all-round option to rig any stick bait. So we're just repeating the process as I explained with the first one. We got our system with our belly treble. All right, we'll whack that on, getting the angle we spoke about before. So I've got the treble sitting how we want it. The 1 hook point forward, 2 hook point back. Sits nice and smooth. Next one, the single off the tail. I really like to have this a specific way as well. I like to have the hook point facing up. That's just me. I've seen people with it facing down. For me, it's hook point up. I would encourage hook point up. Like I said, hook point facing up. Real rocket science, this GT lure rigging. Boom. There you go. Really good rigging option for targeting all kinds of fish, be it GT, tuna, kingfish, mackerel, wherever you are in the world. That's a really good way to rig a stick bait. All right, that's that one done. We're not going to run through the split and swivel again. We've already seen that on the first one. We're going to jump straight into the next rig, which is the big fish rig. This is an exciting one. This is the one that you know there's big fish in the area. You want the best possible, strongest hook you can have to ensure you land that fish. So let's get into it, the big fish rig. Again, we're just taking these off. Going quick now. Pliers have loosened up a little. Really good to practice like all this stuff rigging at home. You just get used to using your split ring pliers, taking hooks on and off, and it becomes second nature. You can do it when you're panicked, when there's fish going mental. All right, big fish rig. Getting a couple things out here. For this specific lure, I have a specific rig. Comes down to weights, which we'll get into in a little bit, but I'm gonna run an 11.0 Diablo single on the belly. Okay, so the big fish rig is very simple. It's just double singles. Single hook, obviously, is gonna be a lot stronger and a lot better connection once the fish is hooked than a treble. Treble is obviously gonna grab more bites, but once this single's in, chance of it bending or breaking is a lot less than with a treble. So the big fish rig is all about singles. Again, it's gonna change the way your lure swims a little bit, but when you hook that big one, this is the rig you want to know that it's getting in the boat. Couple splits, running out of size 10s here. Get that on. Got one there, belly hook. Yeah. One difference with this rig here is we've got a belly single. All the other rigs we've done so far we've had a treble on the belly. So super simple. We're going to rig the single facing forwards like that. The back tail hook is going to be the single facing up like it was with the last one. All right, let's get into it. Tail hook on. point facing up, obviously. Slide that bad girl on. Bang. Belly hook on. If you're new to this, you might have to play around a few times getting your split ring on the lure in a certain angle that the hook sits right, but you'll get the gist of it eventually, and there we go. That's the big fish rig. I have put a bigger belly hook than the tail. This will free it up a little bit, and having this slightly bigger belly hook makes this lure the perfect weight, giving it the perfect action for this rig, purely because I use this lure a lot. Without confusing anyone here, like these are obviously one size lure, quite big for targeting big fish, but this same principle relates through down to tiny little stick baits and stuff as well. Like you want to catch a big fish on a small lure, run singles. You want to get many bites on a small lure and catch many fish, everything that swims near it gets hooked, run trebles. It's the same principle. As you go throughout small to big lures, you're obviously going to have to spend the time finding the right hook size for each lure. That can be simply from laying the hook next to the lure to see if it's going to be the right size, or putting a bunch of different hooks on and testing them to see which makes that lure swim better. It's how much time you want to put in to how crazy you want to get with it. Obviously, everything's situational. If you've spent $10,000 going to the other side of the world on a fishing trip, you probably want to be running trebles, so every bite sticks, and then you run that risk of a hook bending. But it's just one of the things with fishing, there's a lot of variables. So at the end of the day, you do whatever makes you feel most confident. These are just a few options. Okay, we got us something special here. I was planning on doing 3 rigs, but we're going to give you the bonus rig here. It is the Great Barrier Reef Special, I like to call this one, and this is when, in the situation when you know 100% this cast, you're going to have a pack of rampaging GTs coming to maul your lure, and your arms are already sore because you've already caught 15 that day and you're sick of it. That is the bonus rig. Lure, one single off the back, and you whine like hell. If they miss it, but they're going to chase it all the way to the boat, and you'll get him boat side. That's what topwater fishing is all about. The explosions, the chase, but that's the rig for when they're going absolutely bonkers. Alrighty, that's a wrap on the rigging video. Hopefully you guys have learned a little something from this. 4 different rigging options for all your topwater fishing. With this series, I'd love you guys to jump in the comments below and let us know what you want to see, what you want to learn next in this series. I'm open to anything. Any info I can give you guys to help in your fishing life is awesome. And it's a cool little forum now to like share ideas with each other in the comments. All the other gear I use, all lures, hooks, line, everything is going to be listed in the description below. And yeah, this is the first one of this series. There's going to be a lot more to come. Big thanks to Goblin here, behind the camera as always, being silent, but we're getting it done. Windy outside. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you got something out of it.
Sick!
Boys are on!
Yay!
Woo!
I like it!
Woo!
I like it!
Baby sleeping.